Hello, Pennsauken community. Welcome to the Alumni Spotlight. My name is Kayla Brown, and I'm here with Dr. Sharon Hunter Nicklaus, a 1976 graduate from Pennsauken High School. Hello, Dr. Sharon. How are you today?
I'm fine, thank you. And yourself?
I'm doing fine.
Good.
Tell us a little bit about yourself.
As you said, I graduated from Pennsauken High School in 1976. I've lived in Pennsauken and Delaire, and I currently am back living in South Jersey in Merchantville.
Okay.
I have 4 children, spent 24 years in the Air Force, and the rest is history.
Who influenced you the most during your time at Pennsauken High School?
There was no influencer here for me. It was all self-motivation because I knew that I wanted to go to college from the time I was in 7th or 8th grade. I knew I wanted to go to college to get out of Pennsauken to do something greater. And then once I got to college, I found the ROTC program, and that's where I got my motivation to go into the military.
Okay. So how did your education at Pennsauken High School prepare you for what you did after graduation?
I was in college prep, and at the time we were all tracked, and all the children with certain scores were kept in classes together, so you always had the same kids that followed you all the way through high school. And I knew I wanted to go to college when I was in 7th or 8th grade, so graduated, went to college, and being in the college prep program helped me to be able to be prepared for the types of courses that I was going to take in college.
Okay. And what are you doing today?
What am I doing today? Today I'm sitting here talking to you because I'm retired.
Oh, nice.
Yes, I retired from the military. I retired from teaching. I taught junior ROTC.
Okay.
And now I just come hang out with students whenever they ask me to come talk to them.
Well, thank you for coming. Describe your career path after high school.
Career path after high school. I got my commission in 1980.
Okay.
I was assigned to go to Ellsworth, South Dakota. It's really cold in the winter. A lot of snow, cold. And my mother had breast cancer. So I wound up with a humanitarian reassignment back to New Jersey, and I did my active duty at McGuire Air Force Base, which is north of here. And after I finished my 5 years on active duty, then I went into the reserves, and I did 19 years in the reserves, so I had 24 years total. And loved every minute of it, and I would have stayed, but Congress has rules, and they kick you out after a certain amount of time. So I retired as a major, had several career fields, went in for administration, which gives you an opportunity to do many, many jobs. And I did administration, personnel, mission support, operations management, information management, and I also was a medical services corps officer in an aeromedical evacuation unit. And if you don't know what that is, aeromedical evacuation is actually a flying hospital.
For the flying hospital, what is that exactly?
When you're an aeromedical evacuation unit, you have to get to wherever your patients are. So if your patients are wounded out in the field, you have to be able to get there expeditiously. So we fly in whatever aircraft it is. It used to be a C-141, now they're a C-17. They're retrofitted with stanchions that allow for litters, which are that's what people lay on, to be put in there when we pick up patients, and then fly them back home and get them off. And it has all the equipment that they would have in a hospital. There's oxygen, they have meds, everything that you would need to take care of people. It's just a temporary hospital situation.
So they're like, they're hanging off the string?
No, they're not hanging off the string. It's there's a pole here and a pole here and a pole here and a pole here, and then there are metal that go this way between the poles, and then the
It's like slide
litters slide in.
Okay.
Yeah, like a drawer kind of thing. I wouldn't say like a
that.
morgue, but you know.
So when they're on the slot, like that little container, I guess you could say, is people helping them?
Yes. People are hooked up to IVs. They may be hooked up to a heart monitor, any other apparatus that they would need depending on what their particular injury is. You know, we have people there that may have one leg or one arm, or I had a young man that an Army guy. He was missing his left leg and part of his right arm, and he wanted to know when he could go back to the field with his unit, which is admirable, but and you can't tell them that they can't go. But he really wanted to get back to be with his team, because it is all about the team. It's not about the I or the one, it's about the team. You'll learn that.
What is your greatest accomplishment in your professional field?
My greatest accomplishment was probably being a commander. I had 2 commands, and that gives you an officer the opportunity to influence many, many people. Career counseling, marriage counseling sometimes, guidance with their children, any of those things. So it gives you an opportunity to make and mold young people and propel them forward into their careers. So that was probably the best thing I did. And I'm still in touch with a lot of those young airmen. They seek me out.
So you're like, I guess like someone they always looked up to, like you always push them to be better and help
The
them.
mom away from home.
That's a good explanation for it. What advice do you have for the Pennsauken kids that are in this school now?
If I could give them any advice, is you're never too old for education. Education is important, education is key. I finished my doctorate in August. My commencement is in January, and I went back to school just to see if I could get my doctorate, just to see if I could do it. It was very difficult. Education is not easy no matter what level you're at, but even if it's not college, there are trade schools, there are all kinds of things that people can do, but always learn something, because if you're not learning something new every day, you're not living.
Yeah.
So we all have to pick up something and learn it every day.
So Dr. Sharon, tell us about your doctoral experience.
Well, I got my doctorate. It took me a long time, 7 years.
Wow.
Because I was going full-time in the beginning when I got all my core courses completed, but then I got a job, so I wasn't able to spend as much time doing the work as I needed to do, so it took me a little longer. And my final study was on small business restaurants and how team development and teamwork played a role in sustainability. I went to Walden University, and it's an online program, but you have a couple of times when you have to actually go and meet some of the people that you're in class with for like 3 or 4 days.
So you did it online?
Yes, I did.
Was it harder doing it online?
Yes. Everybody thinks online programs are so easy. Not exactly, because you still have to go online. You have to go to your classroom, and some of them are live, but a lot of them aren't. They're like a blackboard that you go to and you post things, but there are live classes that you still have to attend, and you have to meet with your professor.
Like here and there?
Yeah. My original professor's name was Dr. House. If anybody remembers the show House.
Yeah.
His name was Dr. House. We all got a laugh about that, but he didn't think it was funny.
So you think it was harder online rather than going into the class?
Brick and mortar is by far easier. It just takes up a little bit more of your time. If you're somebody that's working and you have an opportunity to do something online, it makes it a little easier in that respect, that you don't have to go anywhere. You know, you can get up in your pajamas and your slippers and still go to class. Mm-hmm. But it is more difficult because you have to actually be disciplined enough to do what you're supposed to do, because you have assignments due every week.
Okay, so you were working throughout your time finishing your schooling?
Yes.
So was it harder to combine both of them?
Absolutely, that's why it took me longer. It was.
So if you weren't having a job, you think it would take less time?
Yes, I do. I probably would have finished in 4.5 years because I was already on track. But then once I started working, and you know, when you have teachers, when you're in a junior ROTC program, you have Saturdays, you have to do things. You have to do things after school, whether it's drill or something else.
Yeah.
So it took a lot of my time.
Okay, but the experience was overall fine for like online experience. And
I met some interesting people. I met a really good friend. We went through from our first class almost all the way through to the end. We used to Skype one another every Sunday, and talk about class. Usually it was I can't use that word, it was a session where we just took out our frustrations of whatever class we were in. And we stayed in communication. He got to know my family because of Skype. I got to know his family. And he passed away last year. He was a young guy too. He passed away. He had just finished his doctorate, and he had it for about 6 months. And then he had a heart attack at 54 years old. Wow. Young guy.
Well, sorry for your loss.
But I'm still in touch with his wife.
Okay.
And we're still friends, so we still keep in communication.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great. Thank you for coming in today, and thank you for joining us. And thank you, Pennsauken community, for tuning into Pennsauken Alumni Spotlight. Until next time.